Hello, greetings, salutations, I'm Andy, thanks for being here. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about habits. If you read the title, you know that. This isn't a surprise, you know why you're here. So habits, huh? Why am I going all self-help on you? Well, for better or worse, habits shape who we are. They affect how we behave, how productive we are, and our chances of success. Habits can be good or bad, and sometimes our habits are things we didn't even realize we picked up. I think habits can be incredibly powerful and change your life in big and small ways. So I want to be purposeful in choosing the ones that I have. All right, here are 10 habits that have changed my life in the usual order of operations that I accomplished them. First one is having a consistent sleep schedule. Now, I don't think there is a one size fits all when it comes to when you should go to bed and when you should wake up. That is different for everyone. For us, we try to go to sleep between 9:30 and 10:30 and wake up right around 6 a.m. We think there's something to going to sleep not long after the sun is set and waking up right around when or just before the sun rises. Another big reason for waking up as early as we do, which might not actually be all that early for some people, is that we live in Texas. It's like 100 and something degrees here during the summer. So if we want to be active outside, the morning is a great time to do it. A consistent sleep schedule is just that, being consistent about when you go to sleep and when you wake up and trying to maximize your body's needed requirement of sleep. Now, as for benefits, one of the things we've noticed is we're just generally more productive when we do this. We wake up, we're ready to attack the day, knock out some tasks, get some stuff done, especially in those earlier morning hours. Also, generally, we just feel better. We have more energy and we feel less sleepy during the middle of the day like we used to do. So tracking right along with the whole sleep thing, the next thing on my list of daily habits, and usually the thing I do after we wake up, is make the bed. Now I realize this sounds like a silly, small task, and why is this even on my list? And this sounds like something your parents used to say to you when you got up, but bear with me for a second. Bear with me. I think this habit really sets a lot of precedence for the rest of the day. I find it valuable that after we wake up, that one of the first things I do, one of the first check boxes I check off is getting something done. And making the bed is such a small and easy one. It's a great first win, first thing in the morning. And boy, does it feel good to win in the morning. Nope. Don't say that. I just think it feels really good to get something done right away, and that can spiral into the rest of your day getting things done and being super productive. Also, just as you walk by your room, as you walk by your bed, as you're in that room throughout the day, it just looks really nice to have it all neat and tidy. I feel like it's less mental clutter. Before I got in the habit of doing this, I'd walk by and I'd see it all messy and the sheets everywhere, and it was just like this extra little stress I didn't realize I had in my head, and now it's gone. Easy peasy. The very next habit is exercise/morning walk. This serves two purposes. One, for our health and well-being and mental clarity, but also two, we have two dogs. So it is a necessity to walk those hairy creatures. And two, we have two dogs, so they need to be walked. You should walk your dogs. If you're not walking your dogs, walk your dogs. But don't during the middle of the heat. Wait till it's cool. After we wake up, before the coffee, before the breakfast, we like to get outside with the dogs, do a walk. We usually walk at least a mile, sometimes 2 to 3 miles, just depends on how we're feeling that day. But the point is, we go for a walk, get moving, get the blood flowing, get the animals exercise, get ourselves exercise. It's just a great way to start the day. Also, I feel like it gets the gears moving in the head. It kind of clears some of the morning fog. And then if you pour some coffee on top of that when you get back, it's like supercharging your day. It's great. That's what I like to do during the mornings, but during the day, we try to incorporate some exercise, some push-ups or other body weight exercises. There's sometimes some yoga, anything we could do to keep us a bit more fit and to wake us up and keep us energized and moving throughout the day. Also, an exercise habit that I'm actually not doing and I haven't been doing since the pandemic started, but used to do all the time and really want to get back into, is swimming. Early in the morning after our walks, I would go for a swim, usually 30 minutes to an hour of lap swimming, and it felt great. It's one of my favorite exercises. It's a great exercise when it's super hot. It regulates your body temperature. It feels great, full body, low impact. I highly recommend swimming. Coming hot off the exercise thing is drink a lot of water. Throughout the day, I drink a ton of water. I have no idea how much. I should maybe track that, but I know I drink a lot. My water bottle is a 32-ounce water bottle, and I drink probably 6 to 10 of these a day. I don't know, it's a lot. Drinking water on the regular throughout the day and drinking a lot of it is super, super healthy. It's great for you. I think it's pretty clear that human beings need water So drink water. An additional sub-water habit on my normal habit of just drinking all day long is I like to drink a fair amount of water right before bed and right when I wake up. I try to do this because sleeping is such a long stretch where we're not drinking water, we're just laying there becoming dehydrated. So it's great to charge that beforehand and right after. Also, one more little water hack is I just take this water bottle with me anywhere I go. If I'm hopping in the car to go to the store, run some errands, throw that in there and I can drink throughout the day, and then I don't miss any water intake and become dehydrated. My next habit is my to-do list. And this really is the one habit that powers all the other habits. I'm not exactly sure when I got into being really diligent about keeping a to-do list and organizing that and planning my day, but whenever that was, that's when my life became a lot more productive. Every morning I open up my to-do list, I look at all the tasks I've laid out, and I actually organize them, remove some, add some new ones, whatever it is. I kind of plan my day with my to-do list right then and there in the morning. My very first task that I check off on the list literally says, plan the day. So in doing my daily organizing, planning out my day on the list, I get to check something off. And that feels good. There's something about the human brain that when you check a checkbox, do a task, it just feels good, so you want to do more of that. It's a self-feeding productivity cycle, and it's beautiful. My to-do list also has a bunch of small, tedious tasks that I'd otherwise forget or overlook. Lots of reoccurring tasks. A daily habit that is part of this daily habit is just chores. I have a bunch of housekeeping, cleaning, chores, that type of stuff on my to-do list that are scheduled out throughout the week, and some of them that are reoccurring. And this is a great way for me to stay on top of these tedious tasks, keep the house looking a lot nicer, and do it on the regular and still get credit for myself as I check those things off the list. And speaking of checking off to-dos, do you mind hitting that like button? Check it off the list? That'd be great. The next daily habit is budgeting / monitoring our finances. I open up YNAB every morning, which is our budgeting software. I see the new transactions. I go through and I make sure we're hitting all of our goals. I get a nice overview on the net worth and how that's doing. I check our investments and how they're performing. Some people might like to do these steps a little less frequently, maybe once a week or once a month, but I like to do it every day just to keep me mindful about where we're spending our money, how we're using our money, how we're planning and setting goals for our money. It's been incredibly helpful for us to stay on top of these things and to make really smart money decisions. The next habit is daily learning and unprompted learning. And now this is a bit nebulous, a little bit vague, but there really isn't much of a structure that I have for myself with this one other than it being a goal of mine on the daily. And the basic idea is this: every day I want to learn something new. I want to expand my education, my skill set. And that doesn't mean it's a completely new topic or something I've never learned about or thought about before. In fact, oftentimes it's just expanding on things I'm already in progress on learning about. But I have found it highly valuable that every day I try to increase my knowledge and then put it to practical use. This could be reading articles, watching YouTube videos, or online courses. It could be reading books or just doing things via trial and error. But no matter the medium of learning, the goal is to learn. And there are so many things in my daily life and my career that stemmed from this. Things I didn't plan on becoming my career or things I would focus on that were just casual for fun learning that turned into money-making ventures. Both photography and videography are great examples of this. I have no formal education in those things, but they interested me. They were fun hobbies. I learned about them every chance I could get and eventually built up skills and eventually a career. A habit that goes hand in hand with daily learning is note-taking. I take so many notes. My favorite way to take notes is with Evernote on my computer or laptop or phone, but I treat Evernote or any note-taking app that I would be using as an external brain. It takes so much of the burden off of my brain from having to remember every single little thing. It's my way of remembering everything that I view as valuable or want to consult later in the future. I find myself taking notes as I watch videos on YouTube, as I read books or articles, as I'm building a new skill, but I also use it for planning. Like these videos, I research and write in Evernote our vacations or our life or financial goals. All these things go into my external brain, and I can't tell you how valuable it has been to be able to go back and research and consult these things over time and not have to worry about remembering every little thing. The next one is reading. I read every day, and you should too. I highly recommend it. I read because it's educational, I can get a lot of good information, but it's also a lot of fun. I try to mix fiction and nonfiction. I typically read my nonfiction during the day, and before bed I read something that is fiction. I find that doing it that way, I have something easy to digest as I go to sleep, and not something that's super factual and interesting and making me think a million thoughts before I go to sleep. I read most of the time on my Kindle, but I also supplement with with a little bit of audiobooks in there. The most recent non-fiction that I just finished is called The Bitcoin Standard. If you're interested in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, it is a highly recommended read. It's very interesting. And the fiction book I just finished reading is called Bandwidth, a near distant future book with some political adventure and internet hacking stuff going on. If you're not reading every day, you should really consider it. You can even do it in small little bites. You can start small by saying, I'm just gonna read 5 or 10 pages per day, 25 pages per day, or just read right before bed. Any of those small little goals can really chip away at a book, and you can go through books at a lot faster rate than you would have otherwise. One of the things I love about books, especially nonfiction books that are full of information, is sometimes these books take years or longer to write and research, and they take all that information and jam it into a book that you can consume in a week or two. It's an incredibly efficient way to consume a lot of really great information all at once. And my very last daily habit, and this is the one I do just before I do that nighttime reading, just before I go to sleep, and that is journaling. I have been journaling nonstop every day for the past 5 years. I journal in an app called Day One app. It's on my phone. I think it's also on Mac desktops, but not Windows desktops. I've been very satisfied using this journaling app, but you could certainly use other ones, or pen and paper, or just opening up a note-taking app on your computer. It doesn't matter. The point is what you put into the journal. Journaling can mean different things to different people, and there's not really a right way to do it. My journal is comprised of a few different elements. The first part is what I did that day, a very factual, matter-of-fact account of all the things I did that day. I then follow that up by how I felt that day. Did I feel like I did a good job of doing the things I wanted to do? How did my accomplishments or tasks that day make me feel? What's my state of mind? Where's my head at? This is the part of my journal where I can be a little bit more free in my thinking and sharing of my emotions and thoughts. And the next section of my journal is what I could do better. I reflect on the things I did that day, how I acted, what my attitude was like, all that stuff, and I say, what could I have done better? And then I try to give myself something actionable for the following day. And the last writing section of my journal is gratitude. And this is where I list out 3 to 5 things I'm grateful for that day. These things can be big, small, trivial, or important. It doesn't matter. If I feel some gratitude for that thing, that person, that experience, I put it down there. I feel like this section is a really nice way to end the day, because you're ending the day with gratitude and a positive outlook, and taking the best of the day and letting that set with you before you go to sleep. And the very last section of my journal is where I put any photos from the day, little snaps I did, little memories, things that are important or relevant. I find all these things really impactful and helpful to look back on, but I also just love the photo portion of it because it's like a little time capsule. I get to see where I was that day in previous years. So those are the things that go into my journal. I find all these things incredibly valuable and helpful to my everyday life. One of the really cool things about the app I use for journaling is every day it shows me my journal entries from that day across my entire journal. So in my case, every day it pops up and says, here are your entries for the past 5 years. And then I can scroll back through and see what I was doing, see the photos from that day, see what I was thinking or what I was feeling, what I could have done better, what I was grateful for. And looking back through all these entries can be really life-changing and eye-opening. It can give you a lot of perspective. It can show you lessons learned or teach you new ones. If you've never tried journaling, I highly recommend it. It's been a very important and meaningful habit in my daily life. All right, that's the end of my video of my habits. What are your habits? What are the habits you do every day that you found meaningful or life-changing? Please share them down below. I would like to read them, hear what you guys have to say, see some new insights and ideas, and maybe adopt some new habits. We'll see. Never know. Don't know the future. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, got something out of it, please hit that subscribe button, that like button. I appreciate it. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.